How's it going? Welcome back, my sinners, to another great video here on the Savior Delicious Moist Show. Today we're going to be talking about the greatest topic of all times. You know, I love talking about it so much. I find it absolutely fascinating. I can't get enough of it. You guys love it. I love it. It's Star Wars The Mandalorian, the thing that birthed Baby Yoda, and God knows I am so thankful for Baby Yoda, because without Baby Yoda in my life, I would be pretty empty and just void of all emotions. And luckily, guys, today I'm actually joined with a fellow great man who was on the previous episode of Star Wars The Mandalorian, Dr. Douche. So, hello, Dr. Douche.
That's right, everybody. Dr. Douche is back in the studio. And can I just comment and say how much of a beautiful studio this is? It's truly what I would call peak living. There's trash on the floor, there's excrement on the ceiling. It's really a fine place to be.
And there are plenty of babies locked down in my basement, I can assure that. So, we are going to be talking about the whole season of Star Wars The Mandalorian. The complete first season, that's right, they haven't made a second one already. Okay, so we're going to be discussing not every single episode in detail, but we're just going to give like our overview and thoughts of the whole season in general. As you might know from the previous video, I did not think that much of it, and neither did Dr. Douche. So we're just gonna jump into it, guys, and we hope you enjoy. Dr. Douche, if you wouldn't mind, start us off with some opinions of yours of what you thought about this whole Star Wars television show.
Actual opinions, real opinions, not corporatized opinions.
Real opinions matter.
Hashtag real. Okay, well, a lot of people seem to be giving it like a lot of credit, this series. It's better than the movie, so I guess that's like a pro for it. I think that's the one thing that's like, people are mainly saying, oh, it's, you know, at least it's interesting, at least there's small set pieces, at least it's kind of focused on its characters. But it's not really, because the characters are one-dimensional, boring, uninteresting. For me, I just find the writing so horribly clunky. Like, there are just these lines that they'll deliberately say something, they'll just tell you. They always say in screenwriting that it should be show, not tell. But there are just so many scenes where they just repeat the obvious, and then other times where there's literally no dialogue for half the episode. You remember that one where he's just walking around on the desert planet and nothing happens for the whole half episode?
Yes, I do remember that. And also, I would just like to say that the main character, what's his name? Does he actually... Mando. Okay, he never actually removes his helmet at all, does he?
He does.
Oh, he does? Oh, right.
It's a real total disappointment though, because they build up all this stuff to him opening his helmet up, and of course we all know it's just Game of Thrones guy inside there, and he looks exactly like he did on Game of Thrones, so it's like, oh, okay, great, nice. I was expecting some scars or something interesting.
I can at least say one thing that I did, like only a small thing I could actually say, but in positive light with the whole Mandalorian thing. There's a few things, but this is my main one, is with the movies, like the new rebooted trilogy, we know that they've tried to force this kind of cringy, like hashtag Me Too kind of humor down everyone's throat, where they're trying to be like super funny, and it's a bit like that, but it's not as forceful as, like, let's say The Last Jedi or the last film, The Rise of the Skywalker or whatever, where they literally repeat the same dialogue because they think that's what humor is, just repeating the same line of dialogue. They do that a bit, but that's mostly due to the terrible writing, not them trying to be funny, but it's still just completely shit.
True. But I really kept on being off-putted by the what's his name? Takia Waititi, the New Zealand guy. They basically put him in as the droid, just because it's Taika Waititi. Everyone's meant to love him, so it's just like, oh, cool. I guess I get to see a droid be all sort of sucked. It's just boring.
I would also like to say that the guy who directed this is obviously an amazing writer, because he is the guy who was starred, and I don't know if he directed, but he definitely starred in Chef, and we all know that Chef is an amazing film. So of course, The Mandalorian will just be just like Chef Star Wars, so it's absolutely beautiful. Baby Yoda was pretty much was a beautiful creation by the corporate overlords, because they probably knew that he would turn into such a big meme. They probably knew that this would blow up and this would get a lot of people interested, you know, because this whole Disney Plus series is obviously targeted for kids and man babies. That's why Dr. Douche loves it. No, I'm joking. But it's they probably knew that not only will he be corporatized merchandise and, ram down everyone's throats, but he probably knew that the internet would take to him, and because he's so cute, obviously the girls who watch this will fall in love with him. And, it's just another, like, marketing kind of technique, and I absolutely hate it.
Yeah, it's a little bit off-putting. Like, I don't know, there's just so much with just tedious long vistas for half of it, and then the other half just being Baby Yoda doing fun, stupid shit, like turning the switches on and off, and then he actually takes off and starts flying the ship at one point, and I was cringing, so bad on the inside. There's just so much about this series, it's just horribly cringy, because at one time they're trying to appeal to everybody, so that they kind of keep everything family friendly. It's just sort of pointless action, but at the same time it wants to be this sort of serious western in space. And it just, for me, it doesn't work at all. It tries to have its cake and eat it, and you either have to pick your lane, go down for the serious option, or just make it a
Family fun time, exactly.
Like the same show, full family fun.
I'm not family friendly, actually, because you can't be family friendly anymore on YouTube. That's actually what they don't want anymore, because they're crazy. But, yeah, I just feel like, the main thing that it suffered from was pretty much the writing, and also, they establish characters, but they don't, establish tons and tons of new characters. I mean, there's quite a lot, but it's not overwhelming like the last film of Star Wars, which was just completely crazy. Why would you introduce so many characters when you can't actually, expand on it? So that doesn't make any sense. But the problem is that the characters in the show are not interesting at all. They have nothing to say. The dialogue between them is boring. You don't care about them. They don't feel like real people. There's no kind of tension. And a lot of people are saying that the action in this film, in this series, is what makes it good. At least the action is really good, but I don't think it's that amazing. What are your thoughts on the action sequences in this?
They're pretty bland. There's a few that are mildly interesting, but I don't know, the way I kept on thinking when I was watching this was I really want to play this game. Like, it felt like I was watching a cutscene for a super new game with the best graphics I've ever seen. And it would be a much more interesting video game, I think, Mandalorian, where it's set, characters, you could actually then forgive it all of its little flaws and its one-dimensional characters. I would just like to say a few positive things about it, because I feel like all I've been doing is trashing it. There's a couple of things. I thought the 6th episode, I think it's the 6th, where they're in the space station and Bill Burr randomly shows up. That was actually a good episode. That was well written. It had an interesting set, even though it's all quite sort of closed. And the characters, you sort of get to learn a little bit about their backstory, and there's things that actually happen that further the plot. Although ultimately at the end of the episode, that was the other thing, is they kept on seeming to just reset it, and then you have to go back to a place he was at before just to sort of tie it all up. It felt...
Yeah, there's a lot of backtreading for some reason, and it would have been interesting if they actually went to more exotic places, and because it's Star Wars, and the Star Wars universe is meant to be amazing and diverse, so you could see some really amazing things. But most of it is just like you said, these empty vistas with nothing much going on. There's so much time wasted where literally nothing's happening. Whatever, it's just shots of him walking or doing mediocre tasks that no one cares about. And there's so many plot holes that make no sense. Logical. I mean, it's Star Wars, so who really cares? But there's so many things that don't make any actual logical sense.
No, when he goes into the final episode and he has to kill that Imperial, trailer voice man, the European dude. And the guy is like, oh, okay, I finally got Baby Yoda. And he goes up to Gustavo Fring in space and he says, oh, I've got Baby Yoda. And he's like, oh, are you sure the baby's actually in the crib? And it's like, everybody saw that coming. The first thing you would do is check that. But because plot needs to happen, because Jon Favreau can't write, basically, or he just turned in the first draft, I don't even know what happened. They just fine, who cares? It's Star Wars, it'll do.
And that's pretty much my main takeaway point is, I feel like at this point, I've just given up completely on Star Wars. You know my opinion. I've given up on Star Wars.
Still talking about it, though.
I'm still talking about it, of course, because everyone loves Star Wars. I love Star Wars, but that's the thing. It just feels like I don't really care at this point anymore, and basically, you know, the whole universe has just kind of been shat on with the last movies everyone hated. You know, it didn't make any sense, and then, you know, these kind of spin-off TV shows that they're obviously gonna keep pushing out these spin-off movies. You know, at this point, I feel like they've kind of lost their chance to actually make something good. You know, it would be amazing if they actually brought out something that was actually really amazing. I feel like the only good Star Wars IP that's actually come out in like such a long time, in the last like 5 years, has been that new game, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, or whatever it's called. But that's actually a pretty good game with actually, that story is more interesting than The Mandalorian, and that's a TV show, so that just tells you pretty much all you need to know, that basically they just lack what makes a good TV show, which is, you know, a plot, good character arcs, and structure that this seems to completely have none of. So, yeah, sadly, I still think it was a complete disappointment, but there's probably going to be a second season of it. What else would you like to say about this?
I just feel like people were distracted by shiny objects, mainly Baby Yoda, because he is, like you say, such a meme, and also because it'll get your girlfriend watching because, oh, isn't Baby Yoda cute? I did like a couple of things that I will say about it. I thought the soundtrack was really good, particularly the sort of main theme. I do like the sort of way that they've put in the sort of Western music into it, and it does tie in quite nicely. I also really love the bits that had me most excited, actually, not just because it was the end of the episode and I knew I wouldn't have to watch anymore, but the credits where you sort of see what's happened in the episode just drawn. That was really nice and very sort of old school 1960s kind of feel about it. And I don't know, I actually like that way more than any of the stuff I had to watch previously.
Yeah, I do think it was quite stylized in that regard, and that was kind of cool, but it didn't have, like, it was trying to be like kind of like Firefly, this Western, really, you know, great TV show with, you know, all these amazing dynamics and soundtracks and everything, but it just completely failed at that. So anyway, guys, at the end of the day, I just think that the whole Star Wars IP has become a complete corporate shell of itself, and they know that, you know, children and man babies are just gonna watch it and they're gonna eat it up. And, you know, if you're a dirty fat slob with a horrible little wife, she'll probably watch it too because of cute Baby Yoda, and you can watch him slurp soup and, you know, pay out your hard-earned money to Disney because God knows they deserve it, and Star Wars forever and ever because that's what we all love and that's what we all want, and praise Disney for everything that they do for us. I just love them so much. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't waste your time and watch this series. It's really not worth it. Luckily, it is only like 20 minutes long each episode, roughly, so it's not too bad. I didn't even watch all of it, in full disclosure, because I feel like I would actually kill myself. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. Make sure you subscribe and like and all that good stuff, and hopefully we'll see Dr. Douche again. And would you like to say anything else, Dr. Douche, before you part ways?
Not really, no.
Well, thank you for joining us, Dr. Douche.